The stars looked different through the viewing window of the scout ship Gentle Current. Captain Veltar pressed his thin, blue-scaled hand against the cool surface as he watched the yellow star grow larger. His people had been traveling the galaxy for thousands of years, bringing peace and knowledge to new worlds. This mission should be simple, like all the others. "Captain, we are approaching the target system," said Navigator Quindal from her station. Her voice was soft and musical, as all voices were on their home world. "Our charts show this is a garden world. The life forms should be peaceful plant eaters, perfect for joining our Federation." Veltar nodded and walked to the control center. His ship was small and gentle, designed for meeting new friends, not for war. The Galactic Federation had not fought a real war in over 10,000 years. Why would they need weapons when all intelligent life was peaceful by nature? "What do our sensors tell us about the planet?" Veltar asked. Quindal looked at her readings and frowned. "Something is strange, Captain. The energy signatures are much higher than expected. There are controlled fusion reactions happening all over the planet. The electromagnetic activity is very intense. Perhaps they are more advanced than we thought," Veltar said. "That would be wonderful. Advanced, peaceful beings make the best Federation members." On the blue and green planet below, Dr. Kim Hyun was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started ringing. He was the head scientist at the Sol Deep Space Observatory, and he had been waiting for this day his whole life. The computers showed a ship approaching Earth, moving in a way that no human-made object could move. Kim Hyun did not panic. He had trained for this moment. He pressed a red button on his desk that sent a signal to every major government on Earth. Then he called his friend Dr. Park Ji-won at the International Defense Network. "Ji-won, they are here," Kim Hyun said into his phone. "One ship, moving slowly. It looks peaceful." "I see it on our screens," Park Ji-won replied. "The ship is small. If they wanted to hurt us, they would probably bring a bigger ship." "Should we activate the defense systems?" "Not yet," Kim Hyun said. "Let them make the first move. But be ready." Around the world, human governments received the alert. Military bases went to high alert, but they followed the plan that had been made years ago. If the aliens were peaceful, humans would be peaceful too. If the aliens were hostile, humans would be ready. The alien ship Gentle Current moved into orbit around Earth. Captain Veltar looked at the readings and felt confused. This planet was nothing like their charts had said. "Quindal, check these numbers again," he said. "The gravity reading must be wrong." "I have checked 3 times, Captain. The gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. That is almost 3 times what most civilized worlds have." "And the atmospheric composition?" 21% oxygen, Captain. That level would be toxic to most Federation species." Veltar felt a chill run through his scales. High gravity and toxic air were signs of what the old texts called a death world. But the old texts were just stories. No intelligent life could evolve on a death world. Everyone knew that only gentle, peaceful worlds could create civilized beings. "Maybe our equipment is broken," he said. "Prepare the first contact message. On Earth, radio telescopes around the world picked up the alien transmission. The message was simple and repeated in mathematical concepts that any advanced civilization would understand. It was a greeting, an offer of friendship and knowledge." Dr. Kim Hyun smiled as he listened to the translation. "They want to meet," he told his team. "They are offering friendship." "Should we respond?" asked his assistant, Dr. Lee Min-ho. "Yes, but carefully. We will follow the protocols. Kim Hyun sent back a mathematical response that meant welcome and friendship. He also sent the location of a safe meeting place in the mountains of South Korea, far from any cities. If something went wrong, fewer people would be hurt. Captain Veltar was pleased when he received the response. The beings on this world could do mathematics and wanted to meet. This was exactly what he had hoped for. "Prepare the shuttle," he told his crew. "Ambassador Lethani, choose your team. We will make first contact tomorrow." Ambassador Lethani was tall and graceful, even by the standards of her people. Her skin was pale green, and her large eyes were kind and gentle. She had made first contact with dozens of species, and all had been happy to join the Federation. "I will take Mortek as my aide," she said, "and 2 cultural specialists. We should bring gifts of our finest art and music." The next morning, the alien shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. It was a beautiful craft, shaped like a flower petal and colored in soft blues and greens. It landed gently in a mountain clearing where humans had set up a meeting area. Dr. Kim Hyun waited with a small team. Beside him stood Dr. Choi Sora, a scientist who studied alien life forms, though she had never seen real aliens before today. Also present was Sergeant Lee Tae-ho, a soldier who was there to protect the scientists, though everyone hoped protection would not be needed. The shuttle door opened with a soft musical sound. Ambassador Lethani stepped out, followed by her, Aide Mortek, and 2 other aliens. They were beautiful creatures, tall and thin, with large eyes and graceful movements. But when Lethani saw the humans, she stopped walking. Her large eyes grew even larger, and she made a small sound of surprise. The humans were much shorter than the aliens, but they looked solid and strong. Their eyes were small and focused forward, like the eyes of hunters. Their teeth were clearly designed for eating meat. Everything about them said, "Predator," to Lethani's trained eye. "Greetings," Dr. Kim Hyun said in the alien language that computers had learned from their transmissions. "Welcome to Earth. We come in peace." Lethani tried to speak, but her voice came out as a whisper. These were not peaceful plant-eaters. These were something the Federation had only heard about in old stories. These were deathworlders. Mortek stepped forward when he saw his ambassador could not speak. "Greetings," he said, his voice shaking slightly. We come seeking friendship with your people." Dr. Choi So-ra noticed that the aliens seemed afraid. They kept looking at the humans, as if expecting an attack. She realized that maybe humans looked scary to them. "Please," she said gently, "do not be afraid. We mean no harm. Would you like to sit down? We have prepared food and drink for you." When Lethani heard the word food, she remembered that these creatures ate other living things. The thought made her feel sick, but she tried to hide it. First contact was too important to let fear ruin it. "We would be honored," she said, finding her voice again. As the 2 groups sat down together, neither side knew that this meeting would change the galaxy forever. Ambassador Lethani tried to keep her hands steady as she held the small device that would translate languages. Across from her sat 3 humans, and each one looked like they could tear her apart without effort. Their muscles were thick and dense, built for a world that wanted to kill them every day. Dr. Kim Hyun noticed the aliens seemed nervous. "Are you comfortable?" he asked. "Is the air okay for you to breathe?" "The air is very rich," Lethani replied. The oxygen levels were making her feel dizzy, but she did not want to seem weak. On our world, the air is much thinner. Mortek was looking at his portable scanner with growing alarm. The device was measuring everything about this planet, and every reading was worse than the last. The gravity was crushing, the air was poison. The radiation from the sun was deadly. How did anything live here? May I ask about your homeworld? Dr. Choi So-ra said, trying to make conversation. What is it like? Lethani smiled, thinking of her beautiful planet. Veltara is a peaceful world. The gravity is gentle, only 3.2 meters per second squared. The air is mostly nitrogen with just enough oxygen to live. The temperature never changes much. All life forms are peaceful. We have no predators. The humans looked at each other. Sergeant Lee Tae-ho spoke up. No predators? How do your people stay strong without challenges? Strong? Mortek asked, confused. Why would we need to be strong? Our world provides everything we need. We have no dangerous animals, no bad weather, no diseases. Dr. Kim Hyun was beginning to understand. I think there has been a mistake, he said gently. Your people expected to find creatures like yourselves, did you not? Lethani nodded. Our charts said this was a garden world with peaceful herbivores, creatures who eat only plants and live in harmony. Herbivores? Dr. Choi So-ra asked. You mean plant eaters? Yes. All intelligent life in the galaxy are plant eaters. It is the natural way. Only primitive animals eat other animals. The silence that followed was uncomfortable. Finally, Sergeant Lee Tae-ho cleared his throat. I think you need to know something about humans, he said. We are omnivores. We eat both plants and animals. Mortek's scanner fell from his hands. You eat living creatures? Well, we cook them first, Dr. Kim Hyun said, trying to make a joke. But when he saw the aliens' horrified faces, he realized this was not funny to them. Lethani was trying to process this information. In her mind, only savage beasts ate other creatures. But these humans could speak, could think, could build spaceships. How could intelligent creatures be predators? How many animals do you kill? She asked quietly. It depends, Dr. Choi So-ra said. Some humans eat meat every day. Others choose to eat only plants. We have the choice. But you have the ability to kill, Mortek whispered. Your teeth, your eyes, your muscles. You are built for hunting. Dr. Kim Hyun looked down at his hands. He had never thought of himself as scary before. Yes, humans evolved as hunters, but we also learned to grow crops, to build cities, to make art and music. We are more than just our biology. Lethani was looking at her scanner now. The device was analyzing the humans and giving her readings she could barely believe. Their bone density was 3 times normal. Their muscle fibers were incredibly strong. Their reaction speed was faster than any Federation species. According to my scanner, she said slowly, you could lift weights that would crush most galactic citizens. Your grip strength could break our bones. Your running speed could outpace our fastest vehicles. That doesn't sound right, Sergeant Lee Tae-ho said. We're not that strong. Compared to what? Mortek asked. What do you consider normal strength? Lee Tae-ho thought for a moment. Well, I can bench press about 120 kilograms. I can run a kilometer in about 4 minutes. I can carry a 40-kilogram pack for 20 kilometers. That's normal for a soldier. The aliens stared at him in shock. Those numbers were impossible. On their world, their strongest individuals could barely lift 20 kilograms. They could not run faster than a gentle walk. The idea of carrying heavy weights for long distances was like talking about flying without wings. "What about your world's weather?" Lethani asked, afraid of the answer. Dr. Choi So-ra smiled. "Earth has many different climates. At the poles, it gets as cold as -40 degrees. At the equator, it can reach 50 degrees. We have storms with winds over 300 kilometers per hour. Sometimes the ground shakes in earthquakes. Volcanoes explode and cover the sky in ash." "And you live through this?" Mortek asked weakly. "Humans live everywhere on Earth," Dr. Kim Hyun said. "In hot deserts, cold mountains, steamy jungles, and windy plains. We adapt." Lethani's training had taught her about different types of worlds. Garden worlds like hers were Class 1, perfect for life. There were also Class 2 worlds that were a little harder, and Class 3 worlds that were quite difficult. But according to her scanner, Earth was something she had only read about in old texts, a Class 13 Deathworld. "I must ask you something," she said carefully. "Do your people know about war?" The humans became quiet. Finally, Dr. Kim Hyun spoke. "Yes. Humans have fought wars throughout our history. We have learned to be very good at fighting. But we have also learned to make peace," Dr. Choi So-ra added quickly. "We prefer peace. We want to be friends with other species." Sergeant Lee Tae-ho saw the fear in the alien's eyes. "Look," he said, "I know we seem scary to you, but humans have rules. We protect the weak. We help those who need help. Just because we can fight doesn't mean we want to fight." Lethani was trying to understand. In the Federation, all species were gentle because their worlds were gentle. They had never needed to fight, so they never learned how. But these humans had learned to fight to survive, and then learned to choose not to fight. It was completely backwards from everything she knew. "What else should we know about humans?" she asked. Dr. Kim Hyun thought carefully. "We heal quickly from injuries. We can survive losing large amounts of blood. We can go without food for weeks, without water for days. We can work in temperature ranges that would kill most creatures. We have survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, and plagues." "Asteroid impacts?" Mortek squeaked. "A big rock hit Earth 65 million years ago," Dr. Choi So-ra explained. "It killed the dinosaurs, but some small mammals survived. We evolved from those survivors." Lethani realized she was looking at something impossible. These humans were the descendants of creatures that had survived the worst disaster a planet could face. They were not just deathworlders. They were survivors of multiple extinctions. "I think," she said slowly, "we need to contact the Federation Council immediately." "Is that bad for us?" Dr. Kim Hyun asked. "I don't know," Lethani replied honestly. "Nothing like this has ever happened before." As the first day of contact ended, both species knew that the galaxy was about to change in ways no one could predict. Admiral Kang Jun-seo received the call at 0400 hours. The aliens wanted to speak with humanity's military leadership, and the message sounded urgent. As he flew to the contact site in his helicopter, he wondered what had gone wrong. The reports, so far, had been positive. When he arrived, he found the aliens huddled together near their shuttle, looking like they expected an attack at any moment. Ambassador Lethani stood up when she saw him, but her movements were shaky. "Admiral Kang," she said through the translator device. "Thank you for coming. We need to discuss containment protocols." Kang Jun-seo frowned. "Containment? Are you sick? Do you need medical help?" "No," Lethani said quickly. "We need to discuss containing your species." The Admiral looked confused. I don't understand. Why would you want to contain us? Mortek stepped forward with his scanner still running. Admiral, our analysis shows that a single human soldier could defeat an entire Federation battle unit. Your species could conquer the galaxy if you chose to. Kang Junseo was quiet for a long moment. Then he started, laughing. The sound made the aliens jump back in fear, but the Admiral meant no harm. He was just surprised. You think we want to conquer the galaxy? He asked. Why would we do that? Because you can, Lethani said simply. In our experience, species that have the power to take control usually do. But we don't want control, Kang Junseo replied. We want to explore, to learn, to make friends. Conquering people would make them slaves, not friends. Dr. Seo Yunhee arrived soon after. She was a cultural anthropologist who studied how different human societies work together. She had been called in to help explain human behavior to the aliens. I think there's been a misunderstanding, she said gently. May I ask what you know about human social structures? Your people follow the strong leader, Mortek said, reading from his scanner. The most powerful individual commands all others. This is how predator species organize themselves. Seo Yunhaye shook her head. That's not accurate. Humans have many different ways of organizing society. We have democracies where everyone votes for leaders. We have republics where people choose representatives. We have councils where decisions are made by groups. But surely the strongest. Fighters become your leaders? Lethani asked. Sometimes, Admiral Kang admitted. But more often we choose leaders who are smart, wise, or good at bringing people together. Physical strength is not the most important quality for leadership. The aliens looked confused. In their understanding, power meant control, and control meant ruling others. But these humans seem to have a completely different relationship with power. Let me tell you about something we call honor, Seo Eunhaye said. Humans believe that having power means having responsibility. The stronger you are, the more you must protect those who are weaker. Protect? Lethani asked. You mean control them for their own good? No, Kang Junseo said firmly. Protect means defend them from harm while letting them live their own lives. We believe that using strength to hurt innocent people is wrong. Mortek was scanning the humans again, trying to understand their brain patterns. What he found made no sense according to galactic psychology. These predators showed massive activity in brain regions associated with empathy and protection of others. According to my readings, he said slowly, your brains are wired for pack bonding. You form emotional attachments to other beings, even beings that are not your own species. Of course we do, Seo Yunhaya said. Humans bond with their families, their friends, their pets, even wild animals sometimes. We adopt orphaned creatures and raise them as our own. We risk our lives to save strangers. We form emotional connections easily. This was completely backwards from what the aliens understood about predators. In their knowledge, hunters were solitary creatures who cared only about themselves and their immediate offspring. They did not form bonds with other species. Can you give us an example? Lethani asked. Admiral Kang thought for a moment. During our Second World War, a human soldier named Park Dong-soo was captured by the enemy. He was held in a prison camp with soldiers from many different countries. Park Dong-soo shared his food with prisoners who were starving, even though he was hungry too. When guards tried to hurt weaker prisoners, Park Dong-soo protected them, even though it meant he would be punished. Why would he do such things? Mortek asked. They were not his family or his tribe. Because they needed help, Kang Jun-seo said simply. Because it was the right thing to do. Seo Yun-hye pulled out her tablet and showed the aliens some videos. The first showed human firefighters running into burning buildings to save people they had never met. The next showed human doctors working in disease-stricken areas, risking their own health to help others. This is human nature, she explained. Yes, we are capable of violence, but we are also capable of incredible compassion. We believe that strength should be used to protect, not to dominate. The aliens watched video after video of humans helping others, soldiers carrying wounded enemies to safety, civilians jumping into dangerous waters to save drowning strangers, doctors refusing payment from poor patients, teachers spending their own money to help students. I don't understand, Lethani said. If you can take whatever you want by force, why do you choose to give things away? Because taking by force makes enemies, Admiral Kang explained. Giving freely makes friends. We would rather have a galaxy full of friends than a galaxy full of slaves. The concept was so alien to their understanding that the Federation representatives struggled to process it. In their experience, predators took what they wanted and kept it. But these humans seemed to gain satisfaction from helping others, even at cost to themselves. What about resources? Mortek asked. If other species have things you need, how do you obtain them? We trade, Seo Yun-hye said. We offer something valuable in exchange for what we need. Both sides benefit. And if they refuse to trade, then we find another solution, Admiral Kang said. We might offer different trade terms, or find the resources somewhere else, or learn to live without them. We don't take things by force unless we're defending ourselves or protecting innocent people. Lethani was trying to understand this strange morality. So you would not conquer a weaker species, even if they had resources you desperately needed. Not if they were innocent, Kang Jun-seo said firmly. We would ask for help, offer fair trade, or find another way. Conquering peaceful people would be wrong? But what if a stronger species tried to conquer you? Mortek asked. The Admiral's expression grew hard. That would be different. We would fight back with everything we have. Humans do not accept slavery or oppression. We will die before we surrender our freedom. And you would fight to protect other species' freedom too? Lethani asked. If they asked for our help? Yes, Seo Yun-hye said. We believe all intelligent beings have the right to live free from oppression. The aliens looked at each other in amazement. These Deathworld predators had somehow developed a moral code that made them both the most dangerous and the most protective species the galaxy had ever seen. I need to send another report to the Council, Lethani said weakly. Will that be a problem for us? Admiral Kang asked with concern. I honestly don't know, she replied. Nothing in our databases prepared us for benevolent predators. As the day ended, both species realized they were dealing with something completely new in galactic history. The solar storm warning came just after midnight. Captain Bae Minho was sleeping in his quarters when the emergency alarm woke him. As the commanding officer of the space station orbiting Earth, he had dealt with solar storms before. But this one was different. It was heading straight for the alien ship. How bad is it? He asked his navigation officer, Lieutenant Kim Da-bin, as he rushed to the bridge. Category 5 storm, sir, Kim Da-bin replied, her fingers flying over the control panels. Radiation levels will be deadly to most known life forms. The alien ship's shields are not designed for this kind of punishment. Bae Minho looked at the readings and felt his stomach drop. The radiation that was coming would kill the aliens within minutes, even inside their ship. Humans could survive it with proper shielding and medical treatment, but these fragile beings, from their peaceful world, had no chance. "Contact the alien ship," he ordered. "Warn them about the storm." On board the Gentle Current, Captain Veltar received the human transmission with growing panic. His ship's computer confirmed what the humans were telling him. A wave of deadly radiation was racing toward them at the speed of light. They had less than 30 minutes before it hit. "Can we escape?" he asked his navigator. "No, sir," Quindal replied with fear in her voice. "Our engines need 6 hours to charge for a jump to hyperspace. The storm will be here in 28 minutes. Ambassador Lethani was awakened by the emergency signals. When she learned what was happening, she felt a cold certainty that her mission would end in death. The humans had been kind to them, but what could they do? The radiation would kill humans too, just more slowly. But Captain Bei Min Ho was already putting on his radiation suit. "Sir, you can't go out there," Lieutenant Kim Da-bin protested. "Even with the suit, you'll absorb dangerous levels of radiation." "The aliens will die if we don't help them," Bei Min Ho said calmly. "Prep the rescue shuttle. Full radiation shielding." "Sir, the radiation levels will be beyond our safety limits," Engineer Oh Shung-woo said. "We might save them, but the rescue team will suffer severe radiation poisoning." Bei Min Ho looked at his crew. These were good people, and he could not order them to risk their lives. "I'm going alone," he said. "No, sir," Kim Da-bin said firmly. "We're all going. Those aliens are our guests." Within 15 minutes, a human rescue shuttle was racing toward the alien ship. On board were Captain Bei Min Ho, Engineer Kim Da-bin, Medical Officer Dr. Park Sung-jin, and Technical Specialist Lee Young-woo. They all knew they were flying into radiation levels that would make them very sick, possibly kill them. "Human shuttle, this is Captain Veltar," came the transmission from the alien ship. "Please return to safety. There is no need for you to die with us." "We're not planning to die today," Bei Min Ho replied. "We're here to help. Prepare your crew for emergency evacuation." The aliens could not believe what they were hearing. The humans were flying directly into deadly radiation to save them. It made no logical sense. Why would predators risk their lives for prey species they had just met? The rescue was like nothing in Federation records. The humans worked in radiation levels that should have killed them instantly. Captain Bei Min Ho personally carried unconscious aliens to the rescue shuttle, while waves of deadly particles bombarded his body. Engineer Kim Da-bin crawled through the alien ship's twisted corridors, dragging injured crew members to safety. But the most amazing part was what happened next. When the aliens' ship systems failed, the humans didn't just evacuate the crew. They started fixing the ship. "We can't leave their ship here," Kim Da-bin explained to the aliens. "It's your home. Let us try to repair it." Working in conditions that would have killed any Federation engineer, Kim Da-bin began jury-rigging the alien systems. She used materials from the human shuttle, improvised solutions that had never been tried before, and somehow made the delicate alien technology work with crude human components. "How is this possible?" Mortek asked weakly as he watched from the rescue shuttle. The humans were using metal patches and wire connections to repair systems that required precision manufacturing. "Human engineering is different from yours," Dr. Park Sung-jin explained while treating the aliens for radiation exposure. "We build things to work in terrible conditions. Our equipment is designed to be fixed with simple tools and basic materials." Engineer Kim Da-bin was doing impossible things. She connected human power cells to alien computers. She used human steel to patch alien hull breaches. She rerouted critical systems through pathways that no alien engineer would have thought possible. "Your technology is so primitive," Technical Officer Quindall said, not meaning to be rude. "We prefer the word robust," Kim Dobbin replied with a grin. "Our stuff might not be pretty, but it works when everything else fails. When the solar storm finally passed, the alien ship was not only repaired but actually stronger than before. The human modifications had reinforced weak points and improved system efficiency." Captain Veltar was in shock. "You risked your lives to save us. Then you improved our ship. Why?" "Because you needed help," Captain Bei Minho said simply. He was pale and sick from radiation exposure, but he was smiling. That's what friends do. The medical examination afterward showed the true cost of the rescue. All 4 humans had absorbed radiation doses that would cause long-term health problems. Dr. Park Seong-jin tried to hide how serious it was, but the alien scanners detected everything. "You will all suffer genetic damage," Ambassador Lethani said with tears in her large eyes. "You may develop cancers. Your lifespans may be shortened. You did this for beings you barely know." "We'll recover," Bei Minho said confidently. "Humans are tough. Besides, our medical technology is pretty good at fixing radiation damage." But technical specialist Lee Young-woo was more honest. "Even if we don't fully recover, it was worth it. We couldn't let you die when we had the power to save you." That evening, as the humans rested in the medical bay, the aliens held an emergency conference. "I have never seen anything like this," Captain Veltar said. "They risked everything for us. Not for profit, not for advantage, just because we needed help. Their technology is incredible," Engineer Quindall added. "Not advanced like ours, but adaptable. They fixed our ship with spare parts and determination." "They called us friends," Mortek whispered. "Deathworld predators called us friends and proved it by bleeding for us." Ambassador Lethani was writing her report to the Federation Council, but she kept stopping. How could she explain what had happened? How could she make the peaceful species of the galaxy understand that these terrifying humans were exactly what they had all been looking for? Protectors who would sacrifice themselves for others. "I think," she said slowly, "we need to completely reconsider what we know about predator species." As the humans slept, recovering from their heroic stupidity, the aliens watched over them with something approaching worship. They had seen the true nature of humanity, and it was both more dangerous and more beautiful than anything in their peaceful galaxy. The rescue mission had proven something important. Humans didn't just talk about protection and sacrifice, they lived it even, when it cost them everything. The emergency session of the Galactic Federation Council had been called at the request of Ambassador Lethani. Council members from across the galaxy gathered in the Great Crystal Chamber on the capital world of Harmony Prime. They came expecting to discuss the standard procedure for containing a dangerous species. What they heard instead changed everything. Wise Singer Tralveth, the ancient leader of the council, read Lethani's report aloud to the assembled representatives. His melodic voice grew more strained with each impossible detail about the humans. "Death. World predators with moral codes," he said slowly. "Beings who eat poison for pleasure yet sacrifice themselves for strangers. Creatures strong enough to conquer us all, yet seeking only friendship. Protector Zurketh, military commander of the Federation's defense forces, stood up on his 4 legs and spoke with worry in his voice. This makes no sense according to our understanding of evolution. Predators compete, They dominate. They do not protect other species. Yet the evidence is clear, said scholar Nim'ara, the Federation's expert on alien psychology. The humans rescued our people at great cost to themselves. They gained nothing from this action except the satisfaction of helping others. Member Feltarin from the peaceful mist worlds spoke next. Perhaps they are planning something. Predators are cunning. They might be pretending to be friendly while preparing to attack. For 3 days? Asked Lithani through the communication device. They have had our people at their mercy for 3 days. If they wanted to harm us, they could have done so easily. The debate continued for hours. Some council members argued for immediate military action. Others wanted to establish diplomatic relations. A few suggested simply avoiding human space entirely. But then the real emergency arrived. Deep space monitors detected the signature energy patterns that every peaceful species had learned to fear. The mechanical ships of the Void Reapers were moving through the outer rim, heading for the agricultural world of Lir Andros. "How many ships?" Protector Zurketh asked with dread in his voice. 17 dreadnoughts, came the reply from the monitoring station. Standard Reaper configuration. Estimated arrival at Lir Andros in 47 hours. The council chamber fell silent. 17 Reaper ships could destroy an entire world. The Federation's own fleet was primarily designed for exploration and peaceful missions. Their heaviest warships were no match for the mechanical killers that had been terrorizing the galaxy for the past 50 years. "We must evacuate Lir Andros," Council Member Feltarin said quietly. "How many people live there?" 4 billion, Scholar Nim'ara replied. "Men, women, children, elderly, all peaceful plant eaters. They have no weapons, no shields, no way to defend themselves. Our ships can evacuate perhaps 50 million in the time we have," Protector Zurketh calculated. "The rest will die." The mathematics of genocide hung in the crystal chamber like a poison cloud. 4 billion innocent lives would be lost because the Federation had chosen to build a civilization based on peace instead of war. It was Dr. Han Seok-jin who broke the terrible silence. He had been listening to the council debate through the communication link, and now he spoke from Earth with an offer that stunned everyone. "We can help," he said simply. "What?" Wise Singer Tralveth asked in confusion. "Humans can help defend Lir Andros," Dr. Han repeated. "We have ships, weapons, and soldiers trained for combat. Give us the coordinates and we will send a battle fleet." The council members looked at each other in shock. The Deathworld predators were offering to fight the most feared enemy in the galaxy to protect people they had never met. "You don't understand," Protector Zurketh said. "The Void Reapers are not like anything you have faced. They are machines designed for one purpose, killing all organic life. They learn from every battle, adapt to every tactic. They have destroyed a dozen worlds already. Then it's time someone stopped them," replied Captain O.J. Wan, the human military commander who had joined the conversation. "We've been listening to your reports about these Reapers. They sound like bullies who pick on peaceful people because no one fights back." "They will kill you," Scholar Nim'ara said. "They are designed to counter every known military strategy in the galaxy." "Good thing we're not from your galaxy," Captain O replied with confidence. "They won't know our strategies because we developed them fighting each other on a death world." Council Member Feltarin was the first to voice what everyone was thinking. "Why would you do this? Why would you risk your lives for a world you've never seen, for people you've never met?" Dr. Han Seok-jin's answer was simple and devastating. "Because they can't defend themselves and we can. because letting innocent people die when you have the power to save them is wrong. But you gain nothing from this, wise singer Tralveth protested. If you succeed, Leandros will be grateful, but they have no resources you need. If you fail, your people will die for nothing. Not for nothing, Captain O corrected. They'll die knowing they stood between evil and innocence. That's what human soldiers do. The debate that followed was unlike anything in Federation history. For the first time in 10,000 years, they were discussing warfare not as an ancient curiosity, but as an immediate necessity. Our computers calculate the humans have a 12% chance of success, Protector Zurketh reported. The Reaper's tactical systems will quickly adapt to their strategies. Your computers don't know humans, Dr. Hahn replied. We adapt faster than any machine. We're survivors, remember? Ambassador Lethani spoke up from her position on Earth. Council members, I have seen what humans can do. They work miracles with primitive technology. They refuse to accept defeat. They sacrifice themselves for others without hesitation. If anyone can stop the Reapers, it's them. Wise singer Tralveth was ancient even by the standards of his long-lived species. He had seen the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth and death of stars. In all his centuries, he had never faced a decision like this. You would truly fight for us? He asked the humans, knowing you will probably die? We'll try not to die, Captain O replied, with what sounded like humor. But yes, we'll fight. Someone has to. The vote was close. Some council members argued that accepting help from Deathworld predators was too dangerous. Others pointed out that 4 billion people would die if they refused. In the end, it was Scholar Nimara who cast the deciding vote. They risked radiation poisoning to save 7. Aliens, she said quietly. Perhaps they will work another miracle for 4 billion. The authorization was transmitted to Earth, along with the coordinates of Leandros and all available intelligence on the Void Reapers. On Earth, Admiral Kang Jun Seo began mobilizing humanity's first interstellar battle fleet. As ships launched from secret military bases around the world, he wondered if they were flying to victory or to humanity's first defeat among the stars. But Captain O.J. Wan was already studying the Reaper tactics, and he was smiling. They're used to fighting civilized enemies, he told his officers. Time to show them what uncivilized looks like. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when mechanical perfection met human stubbornness. The human task force arrived at Leandros 12 hours before the Void Reapers. Captain O.J. Wan stood on the bridge of the battleship Indomitable, looking at the peaceful world below. It was beautiful. Green continents, blue oceans, white clouds. Everything the aliens had said about garden worlds was true. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the planet's surface, reported Communications Officer Kim Soo-jin. On the main screen appeared a creature that looked like a cross between a deer and a butterfly. Its large, gentle eyes were filled with fear, but it spoke with dignity. Human warriors, it said in accented but clear English. I am Prime Minister Velandra of Leandros. We have heard what you are doing for us. Our entire world is grateful, but we do not want you to die for us. Colonel Park Young-min, the task force's ground commander, stepped forward. Prime Minister, has anyone ever asked you to die for them? No, Velandra replied, confused by the question. That's the difference between us and the Reapers, Park Young-min said gently. We're here to live for you, not to ask you to die for us. Major Lim Soo-jin was studying the tactical displays at her station. Sir, 17 Reaper dreadnoughts approaching from Vector 77 Mark III. They'll be in weapon range in 6 hours. The human fleet was smaller than the enemy force. Only 12 ships, including 6 destroyers, 4 cruisers, and 2 battleships. According to every tactical computer in the galaxy, they should have retreated. But humans had never been good at following computer advice. All ships. This is Captain O, the fleet commander announced. Remember what we're fighting for. 4 billion innocent people are counting on us. We're not just representing humanity today. We're representing every species that chooses protection over destruction. On the planet below, the people of Lir Andros watched their skies with fear and hope. They had lived for generations in peace, never needing weapons or armies. Now strangers from a death world were preparing to die for them. The Void Reapers arrived, exactly on schedule. Their ships were black metal nightmares covered in weapon ports and sensor arrays. They moved with mechanical precision, forming attack formations that had destroyed dozens of worlds. "Human vessels," came the cold, electronic voice of the Reaper command ship. "Withdraw or be destroyed. Organic life in this system will be terminated. Resistance is futile." Captain O.J. Wan smiled as he opened a channel to respond. "Reaper. Ships, this is Captain O of the human battle fleet. We have a different suggestion. Leave now, or we'll show you what terminated really means." The Reapers had faced many species in their campaign of galactic genocide. They had defeated the military might of a dozen civilizations. Their tactical computers contained the battle patterns of every known spacefaring race. But they had never encountered humans. The battle began when Commander Shin Woo-seok launched the first attack. Instead of following standard Federation tactics, the human ships moved in patterns that made no sense to Reaper analysis programs. They used their engines not just for movement but as weapons, creating plasma trails that interfered with Reaper sensors. "Sir, the enemy is adapting to our attack patterns," reported Tactical Officer Lee Jin-ho from the destroyer Defiant. "Good," replied Captain Kim Tae-hyun. "Let them think they understand us." What the Reapers didn't know was that humans had been fighting each other for thousands of years. Every human military academy studied the battles of ancient warriors, modern generals, and theoretical strategists. Human tactics were not based on computer optimization. They were based on centuries of warfare against other humans who were just as clever and just as determined. Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-mi executed a maneuver that had been used by ancient Korean naval forces against superior numbers. She led 3 destroyers in what appeared to be a retreat, drawing 5 Reaper ships into pursuit. When the Reapers followed, they flew directly into a trap where the human battleships were waiting. The mechanical ships tried to adapt, but every time they learned a human tactic, the humans switched to something completely different. Captain O.J. Wan used strategies from Earth's naval warfare, combined with tactics from land battles, mixed with maneuvers that had never been tried in space combat. "They're not fighting like a computer would," Major Lim Soo-jin observed as she watched the tactical display. "They're fighting like humans, unpredictable, stubborn, and completely insane." But the humans were taking heavy casualties. The Reaper weapons were designed to penetrate any known shielding, and human ships were not built for the kind of abuse they were taking. The cruiser Dauntless was badly damaged. The destroyer Courage was on fire, and the battleship Indomitable had lost half its weapon systems. That's when Engineer Sergeant Kim Da-bin, who had helped repair the alien ship during the solar storm, came up with an idea that changed everything. "Sir, she called to Captain O from the engineering section. "I think I can overload our reactor to create an electromagnetic pulse. It might shut down the Reaper systems temporarily." "What's the risk?" O asked. 90% chance it kills everyone on the ship," Kim Dobbin replied honestly. "And if we don't try it?" 100% chance the Reapers kill everyone on the planet." Captain O didn't hesitate. "Do it!" The Indomitable flew straight at the largest Reaper dreadnought, while Kim Dobbin worked frantically in the engineering bay. She pushed the ship's reactor beyond all safety limits, creating an unstable field that would either destroy the Reaper's electronics or vaporize her own ship. When the pulse hit, every Reaper ship went dark for exactly 37 seconds. It was enough. The remaining human ships poured everything they had into the disabled Reapers. Commander Shin Woo-seok rammed his damaged destroyer into a Reaper cruiser. Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-mi used her ship's remaining weapons to target the enemy command vessel's central processor. When the electromagnetic pulse faded and the Reaper systems came back online, they found themselves facing something they had never encountered before. An enemy that had sacrificed their most powerful ship to create one moment of vulnerability and had used that moment to achieve the impossible. 11 of the 17 Reaper ships were destroyed. The remaining 6 were badly damaged and retreating. "Sir," reported Communications Officer Kim Soo-jin, "we're receiving a transmission from the Reaper command ship." The mechanical voice was different now, uncertain in a way that machines should never be. "Human forces. This outcome was not predicted. Our tactical analysis indicates you should have been defeated." Captain O, bleeding from a head wound, but still standing, replied with satisfaction in his voice. "That's because your analysis doesn't account for something you machines will never understand. We're fighting for people we love." The surviving Reapers jumped to hyperspace, fleeing from an enemy they could not comprehend. On the surface of Lear Andros, 4 billion people looked up at their skies and wept with relief. The mechanical killers were gone, driven away by strangers, who had asked for nothing in return except the chance to do what was right. Prime Minister Velandra sent a message to the human fleet. "We will remember this forever. How can we ever repay you?" Captain O's response became legend throughout the galaxy. "Take care of each other. That's payment enough." When the battle reports reached the Federation Council, they contained a single line that would change galactic civilization forever. Humans successful, Reapers defeated, Learandros safe. For the first time in 50 years, the Void Reapers had been stopped. And they had been stopped by Deathworld predators who fought not for conquest, but for love. 6 months after the Battle of Learandros, Dr. Yoon Soo-bin stood in what had once been an empty conference room on Harmony Prime. Now it bustled with activity as humans and aliens worked together to establish the new galactic defense protocols. The transformation had been remarkable. What started as first contact with a species the Federation feared had become the foundation for a new age of galactic cooperation. "The integration is proceeding better than anyone expected," Dr. Yoon told Ambassador Lethani as they reviewed the latest reports. "Humans are adapting well to Federation technology, and Federation species are learning to work with human military doctrine." Lethani, who had been promoted to Director of Human Relations, nodded with satisfaction. "The psychological profiles continue to amaze our scientists. Humans remain the only known species that grows stronger under pressure while maintaining compassion for others." Across the galaxy, the changes were visible everywhere. General Kim Tae-young oversaw the establishment of the Human Guardian Corps with bases on 12 worlds. But these were not traditional military bases. They were training centers where humans taught Federation species basic self-defense while learning alien sciences and culture. On the agricultural world of Serenity Falls, Captain Park Min-jun worked with local farmers to establish early warning systems. His soldiers helped plant crops during the day and stood watch against potential threats at night. The farmers, who had never seen weapons before meeting humans, now understood the difference. Between violence and protection, Dr. Lee Ah-ram had perhaps the most important job of all. As Director of Cultural Exchange, she helped Federation species understand human nature while teaching humans about their new galactic neighbors. The key, she explained to a group of Velnari diplomats, is understanding that humans are protective, not possessive. We want to keep you safe, not control you. The diplomats, who had initially been terrified of human strength, now brought their children to meet human soldiers. The sight of massive human warriors gently teaching alien younglings how to throw a ball had become common throughout Federation space. But the most significant change was in how the galaxy viewed conflict itself. Wise singer Tralveth, now in his final years, had lived to see the Federation's first military victory in recorded history. The Council had voted to establish the Galactic Defense Force, with humans serving as military advisors and frontline troops. For 10,000 years, we believed that intelligence meant peace, he said during his final address to the Council. The humans have taught us that sometimes peace must be defended with strength. The Void Reapers had not returned since their defeat at Lear Andros, but other threats had emerged to test the new alliance. Pirates who had preyed on defenseless Federation ships discovered that their targets now had human escorts. Hostile machine. Intelligences found that their logical strategies failed against human unpredictability. Colonel Choi Jun-ho commanded the first mixed-species military unit in galactic history. His battalion included human marines, Velnari technical specialists, and Mist-World reconnaissance experts. They had stopped 3 separate invasions in the past month. "Sir," reported his aide, Lieutenant Kim Yoo-jin, "we've received another request for protection. The mining colonies in the outer reach are being threatened by raiders." "Tell them we're on our way," Choi Jun-ho replied. "And contact the local Federation authorities. We'll need their help with logistics." This cooperation between human military might and Federation resources had proven unstoppable. Human warriors provided the strength to fight, while Federation species provided the knowledge, technology, and support systems needed for victory. But perhaps the most important success was happening on a smaller scale. On the colony world of New Harmony, human children and alien younglings played together in integrated schools. Dr. Song Hya-young, a human teacher, watched as her students worked on a project together. Humans, Velnari, and 3 other species building a model of their ideal future city. "Miss Song," asked a young Velnari student named Nimtel, "why do humans like to play games where they pretend to fight?" A human boy named Park Ji-won answered before the teacher could. "Because fighting games teach us to protect people. We practice so we can keep our friends safe." "But we don't like real fighting," added Kim So-young, a human girl who was carefully helping a fragile Mist-World child with the construction project. "Real fighting is only for when someone tries to hurt people we care about." Dr. Song smiled as she watched the children work together. The human kids naturally took protective roles, making sure their alien friends didn't get hurt. The alien children brought creativity and gentleness that softened human aggression. Together, they were creating something neither species could achieve alone. Ambassador Lethani visited the school regularly, still amazed by what she saw. "Dr. Song," she said during one visit, "our psychologists say the human children are developing even stronger protective instincts than normal. Being around more fragile species is making them more gentle. And the alien children are becoming braver," Dr. Song replied. "Having human friends who will protect them gives them confidence to try new things." The integration had not been without problems. Some Federation species remained afraid of humans. Some humans grew frustrated with what they saw as alien weakness. But these issues were becoming less common as understanding grew. The real test came when the Void Reapers finally returned. This time they brought 50 ships instead of 17. They had studied the human tactics and adapted their systems. They came to finish what they had started. But the galaxy that met them was not the same one they had left. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung commanded the combined Federation fleet that intercepted them at the edge of the galaxy. His ships included human dreadnoughts with Federation shields, alien cruisers with human weapons, and mixed crews that fought with deadly efficiency. The battle lasted 3 days. When it ended, the Void Reapers were not just defeated, they were completely destroyed. Their mechanical logic could not comprehend an enemy that combined human ferocity with Federation wisdom. The final report was simple. Threat eliminated. Galaxy secure. As the news spread throughout Federation space, celebrations erupted on 1,000 worlds. But on Earth, in a small ceremony attended by only a few dozen people, the real victory was being celebrated. Captain Oh Jae-won, now Admiral of the Guardian Corps, presented citizenship certificates to the first humans born in Federation space. These children, born on alien worlds to human parents, were something new in galactic history, beings who belonged to both Earth and the stars. "Today," Admiral O said to the small crowd, "we celebrate not the victory of one species over another, but the birth of a new kind of civilization. One where strength serves wisdom, where courage protects gentleness, where the strong and the wise work together to build something greater than either could achieve alone." In the audience, Ambassador Lethiani held the hand of her own adopted human daughter, a war orphan from the first Reaper conflicts who had found a home among the aliens her species had died protecting. As the ceremony ended and the mixed families went home to their integrated communities, the galaxy settled into a new age of peace. It was a peace defended by warriors who had learned that true strength meant protecting those who could not protect themselves. The day aliens reached Deathworlders by mistake had become the day the galaxy learned that the strongest predators could also be the gentlest guardians, and in the end, that mistake had saved them all.